keep Israel's name in your mouth. You can't stop the Hebrew Israelite train. All praises to Yahweh, BaHa, YAHAWASHI, BaHa, QADASH, of course. Giving all praises to Yahweh, BaHa, YAHAWASHI, BaHa, QADASH. Anyway, I was just clicked on Vocab Malone late night. See, we here at Great Millstone, we don't wish that Vocab just disappear. We might say that, but we really don't wish he disappear. We like it. We like it when he does his videos because, you know, he comes against us. One West is I'm talking about, but he gives us topics to speak on. You don't have something to speak on, go to Vocab's page. You'll be able to do a response on a video that he did. So he keeps this thing going, even though he says that we're not the people. But the more you talk about it, the more it goes into people's minds and it pushes the gospel. So you can't do nothing against this truth, but for the truth, Vocab. So you help the truth more than hurt the truth. Okay. The chick, I forget her name. You get somebody can put it on the woman that was on the show a couple of days ago. She confronted the ISUPK down south, and the brother captain, I forget his name. Brother lost a lot of weight. Looks good. Look marvelous. I didn't even recognize him. He's a good teacher because he cornered him, man. And he said, "What color?" As English said, "What color is Christ?" And then she went into, what the hell did she say? She didn't want to go into color. Oh, he's from the Middle East. That has nothing to do with the color. You know? Yeah, somebody, what color is that guy? Oh, he's from New York. I didn't ask you if he's from New York. I asked you what color he is. So he said, he came back and he said, "What color is Christ?" She said, "He's from the Middle East, and he's from the Middle East, and he's a dark-skinned man." A video that I did, I showed how many dark-skinned people are in the Arab world. And a lot of them Arabs are just as dark as this brother right here. All right. And some look his complexion, he can pass for an Arab. But you got Arabs as dark as this, but they don't normally show you in the movies. In Mexico, you watch movies on Mexico, they show you a lot of whiter looking, Spaniard looking Mexicans. But if you go down there, and I went down there, the Mexicans, I seen Mexicans with straight up woolly hair, with dark skin, negroid features. Anyway, I'm not going to make this long. This is a GMS quick hit. And I'm just going to let this man speak.
To do with us. Has nothing to do with us. And
but you believe you're a Hebrew, right?
I don't call myself a Hebrew at all. I do believe that our ancestors, I don't call myself an Israelite either. I do know that the scriptures say that the people of the Most High, or Yah, God, whatever you want to call them, his people called by his name. So as far as the Hebrew goes, I don't see how that fits in as an Israelite. I don't see how that fits in at all. What I would say though is that I know for a fact is that something close to that. I would say that those that come off of the transatlantic slave trade, that come off of slave ships and that have been scattered and sent into enemies' lands, they are the direct descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, without a doubt. I do not call myself a Hebrew Israelite because now I'm grouping myself in with the fringe-wearing Esau's, the white man, 12-tribe chart folk. So that's not.
I'm trying to.
Okay, he said he does not call himself a Hebrew Israelite, but he says the people that came into America from West Africa, transatlantic slave trade and all that, are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But then he said, out of one side of his mouth, he said that so-called black people in America are the Israelites, descendants of the Israelites. Other side of his mouth, I'm not one of them. Did your foreparents come over here and cargo slaves, his brother? No, my parents is Haitian. Well, guess what? They came over here and cargo slaves too. The first so-called black slaves from West Africa, do you know what country they went to? The first country was to the Dominican islands. The island is called Hispaniola, which is cut in half of it are Dominicans and the other half are Haitians, and they kind of hate each other. You know, it's like, and this is why they considered the Haitian half those are Black Africans. You got the Dominicans just as dark as the Haitians, and they mingle too. If you saw my father, he looked straight up like a Dominican, but he's Haitian. All right. Pass for Puerto Rico. I can pass for him, but my father even more so. Even more so. So let's say, oh, I'm Haitian. Well, guess what? Your foreparents came over here in cargo slave ships from the same place that the blacks went to America. Oh, I'm from one of the West Indian Islands. Where do you think the people of the West Indian Islands come from? They came from West Africa to serve slavery in America, but they happened to go to those islands. First islands they went to was Santo Domingo, and that was back in the early 1500s. When Christopher Columbus was still alive, shortly died. That was in the early 1500s. So Jake started coming over here in the early 1500s. So 1500, 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900. We're in the 20s now. We're talking about in the 500 year, 400, clearly 400 plus years. Let's say 1520, 1620, 1720, 1820, 1920, 2020, that's 500 years. So you Israelites out there that are not on a higher level as far as the knowledge goes, you need to stop that nonsense about the 400-year captivity in America from 1619 to 1919. But it takes time. You know, 2022, almost 20, but it takes time. They started going down to 19. No, you failed. All right. That prophecy is talking about the Abraham's prophecy, Genesis 15. I got to keep bringing it up because it keeps coming up. That was talking about Mizraim. Let's listen to this guy one more time. Keep Israel's name in your mouth because you're pushing the gospel. You're doing our part of our heavy work of vocab, and you're easy. Like everybody else says, you're easy. You're getting better. You learn a lot of things. You know a lot of things. You know a whole hell of a lot. You know a whole hell of a lot about the Hebrew Israelism, as you call it. But it's going to take you a while before you really, and you're never going to get it anyway. Let's come back.
That come off of slave ships, off of the transatlantic slave. I would say that those that come off of the trans come close to that. I would Hebrew goes. I don't see how that you want to call them the people of Israelite either. All I do believe that our ancestors. I don't call myself a Hebrew.
You believe you're a Hebrew, right?
I don't call myself a Hebrew.
Brother, homeboy, confused. Vocab Malone asked him if he's a Hebrew Israelite. He said, I don't call myself a Hebrew. But then he says, the people that came over here and suffered transatlantic slavery in the Americas are the descendants of the Israelites. So maybe he came from the moon. Maybe he crawled up from a rock. Maybe he materialized. Maybe he's Melchizedek BaHa. So he's saying two different things out of his mouth, which my thought is that the man's confused. Let's listen again. I'm gonna cut it short.
I do believe that our ancestors, I don't call myself an Israelite either. I do know that the scriptures say that the people of the Most High, or Yah, God, whatever you want to call them, his people called by his name. So as far as the Hebrew goes, I don't see how that fits in as an Israelite. I don't see how that fits in at all. What I would say though, that I know for a fact, is that something close to that. I would say that that those that come off of the transatlantic slave trade, that come off of slave ships and that have been scattered and sent into enemies' lands, they are the direct descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, without a doubt. I do not call myself a Hebrew Israelite because now I'm grouping myself in with the fringe wearing Esau's, the white man, 12 tribe chart folk. So that's,
yeah, but you're still an Israelite. You just said it. I don't equate myself with that. In other words, you're not out there on the highways and the byways, but you are Israelite, but you refuse to say that you're an Israelite. You're an Israelite whether you like it or not. If you're one of the descendants of the transatlantic slavery. So got a lot of confusion out there, man, folks. Got a lot of confusion out there.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, but you're saying that's you.
You got Vocab Malone confused.
How you identify, but you don't believe that Jesus of Nazareth has anything to do with you? Do you believe that he was not a Hebrew?
I don't believe he was a historical person. I don't even.
And we can close it on this. This guy just confused. He's a walking contradiction, man. Homeboys are walking. Hey, both sides only dealing with the elect. If you're not one of the elect, if the Most High didn't set you up to receive this, you're gonna receive bits and pieces of it. Did you? Let's hear that again. Let's hear that again. And thank you, Vocab Malone.
Trying to figure out, but you're saying that's you, how you identify, but you don't believe that Jesus of Nazareth has anything to do with you? Do you believe that he was not a Hebrew?
And Vocab does agree that Jesus, as he calls him, of Nazareth, was a Hebrew. He was of the tribe of Judah. He was an Israelite, which would mean, based on what this man had just said, that he's one of us, a so-called black, a Negro. See, doing this work is fun. I look forward to doing this, man. I love doing this. This is not a chore to me.
I don't believe he was a historical person.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Come on now. But he believes that there's Israelites, but there was no Messiah. The Messiah didn't come. If anything, he's an Old Testament. Basically, he's confused.
I don't even think he was a real person. I think the quote unquote evidence and firsthand source.
I don't think George Washington was a real person. I don't think Abraham Lincoln was a real person. I don't think Genghis Khan was a real person. I don't think Alexander. I can go on and on. Because you can't bring them back unless some nigga grab you and throw you in a fucking time machine and take you right back to Genghis Khan. That shit ain't gonna happen. Homeboy.
Is that we have the lackluster and the we don't end it. And even when it comes to the eyewitnesses, let's say, of the synoptic gospels or any of the gospels, even they don't agree on his storyline. So
you believe that Adam and Eve were historical figures?
Do I believe that Adam and Eve were historical figures? Not the way that it's been illustrated and painted to us. I do believe that there was a man and a woman that were guarding a garden, yes.
But they would be Adam and Eve. I'm not saying that they.
He don't believe in Adam and Eve, but he does believe that there was a man and woman in the garden so many years ago. Jake is out their fucking mind. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Who had peach skin or something, but I'm saying are they historical figures?
In the modern sense and the modern name, I mean, sure, Adam and Eve. I wholeheartedly believe everything recorded in Torah and Tanakh. So yeah, I stand by that.
He said he believed everything that's recorded in Torah and Tanakh. YAHAWASHI is mentioned in Torah and Tanakh. Torah, what is that? Deuteronomy 18. Moses said there will be a man that will come like me, a prophet. Listen to this man. Scholars will tell you that that's the fulfillment of YAHAWASHI coming on the scene. He believes in the Torah, or maybe he says, I don't believe that the Lord came yet. He's yet to come. This man's nothing but he's confused. He's confused. The Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace.
Then you
got vocab all messed up. He said, where this nigga come from? This motherfucker out of his damn mind. He's all over the place. He's a walking contradiction.
believe the Tanakh is the word of Yahweh?
Well, I mean, whenever you look at his prophets, they all come in his name and they all speak a hermeneutical word of his. So without a doubt, I would see.
It's hermeneutical. Hermeneutics, not hermeneutics.
The flaws in it. But when we go to New Testament, I do see a direct contradiction in a whole new path.
You know, like people frequently bring up, they'll say there's a contradiction between Genesis and Genesis.
See this cat right here? He want to come off with that intellectual nonsense, mambo jumbo. We don't speak like that. We don't try to speak like Alexander Scorby. We don't try to speak like him. As a matter of fact, let me let you listen to Alexander Scorby so you can know what I mean. We don't. Definitely. I just speak. I just speak. If somebody asks me directions, I'm gonna speak the same way I'm hitting the gospel. I'm not. Yes, you go down the street, then you make a left, and the train will be there. Oh yes, the train will be there. I don't speak like Alexander Scorby. Give me a second. Let me do this. Boy. Let me do it this way. Okay, bear me. Alexander Scorby. Okay. Bear me for a minute. Oh, wow, he's live. Wow. Alexander Scorby. KJV audio. Do it that way. Let me see. Let me try this. Bear me for a minute.
For your old-haired professionals, do you need them to grin closer, faster, with targeted shaping for a sharper look?
My word is a lamp unto my feet,
Here it is.
and a light unto my path. Thy word is very pure, therefore thy servant loveth it. Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. This is my comfort in my affliction, for thy word hath quickened me. Let, I pray thee.
That's what I mean by Alexander Scorby. This guy right here trying to come off like some intellectual. He's showing how confused he is. That's why vocab is bugging out. Let's listen to a little bit more. I'm having fun with this.
Too is a frequent charge, and I believe that a person who believes for good reason that Genesis is authoritative, it's God's word, it's accurate, can easily show these are not identical. So something being different is different than being contradictory. But there's a reason why they each portray the same event with different details. There's a reason for that, and there's a point to that. It's just the same way with the Gospels. You know, when you look at Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, they'll portray, say, the feeding of the 5,000, and they'll portray different events. But it seems like a very similar, like the word, easy concept to say, whoa, we're portraying the same event differently. So I always find it's interesting when people will attack the New Testament without taking into account sort of what we have with the Old Testament. Because there's, you know, you're saying it's not a stream, you don't believe it's continuous, but I do. And it's, you know, interesting as far as these people existing. Like, who do you believe the eyewitnesses were for Adam and Eve's existence?
Eyewitnesses for Adam and Eve's existence. So as far as eyewitnesses being there in the garden, it would be
Counting guys like this, the super intellectual guy. They want to sound intellectual because they're talking to a white man. So let me sound as intellectual as I possibly can. But when you open up your mouth, trying to sound like Alexander Scorby, you're making yourself look stupid. You said the people that came over here and experienced the transatlantic slave trade are the people of the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Israelites, but I'm not one of them. Absolute confusion. With that, I'm gonna say shalom. And he's saying, I wish this guy get up off the phone. And that's how we think when you come around. We hope that you leave, because you bring nothing but confusion anyway. But we play off you anyway. You set up